The room went completely silent when the little girl suddenly grabbed the stranger's hand and whispered, "Please don't leave us." Nobody understood why she had said it. Not her mother. Not the wealthy guests standing around them. Not even the man whose hand she was holding. Only moments earlier, he had been a complete stranger, a man who had stepped into an embarrassing situation simply because he could not stand watching someone be humiliated. He had pretended to be her boyfriend for less than 5 minutes, thinking it was a harmless act of kindness that would end as soon as the crowd stopped staring. But he had no idea that those 5 minutes would change 3 lives forever. He had no idea that behind the woman's confident smile was a heart barely holding itself together, or that her quiet little daughter had been waiting for someone to make her feel safe for a very long time. Before we begin, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that one small act can change someone's life, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs a little hope today, leave a comment, and subscribe to Kindness Speaks. Stories like this remind us that sometimes the people who enter our lives by accident are the very people our hearts were waiting for. The evening had started beautifully for 34-year-old Elena Carter. She stood beneath the crystal lights of the city's most expensive hotel ballroom, wearing a simple navy blue dress that was elegant without trying too hard. Her dark brown hair was tied neatly behind her shoulders, and she had spent almost an hour convincing her 8-year-old daughter, Lily, that everything would be fine. Elena had been invited to the annual charity foundation dinner by a business associate who had insisted that she attend. It was the kind of event where people arrived in luxury cars, where waiters carried sparkling drinks on silver trays, and where conversations revolved around investments, private schools, vacations, and family names that appeared in newspapers. Elena did not belong there, at least that was what she kept telling herself. She was a successful interior designer who had built her small business from nothing after becoming a single mother, but success had not erased the scars left by years of being judged. She had learned to walk into expensive rooms with confidence even when her bank account was nowhere near as impressive as the people around her. She had learned to smile when people asked uncomfortable questions about Lily's father. She had learned to pretend that she did not notice the whispers. That night, however, she had made one mistake. She had come alone. Lily stood beside her in a pale blue dress, holding her mother's hand tightly. The little girl was quiet, observant, and unusually sensitive to the moods of adults. She had inherited her mother's dark eyes, but there was something older in her expression, something that made people wonder what she had already experienced in her short life. Elena had barely finished greeting the host when a woman named Victoria approached her with 3 other guests. Victoria was elegant, wealthy, and famous for knowing everyone's business. Her smile was polite, but her eyes were sharp. She looked at Elena's empty side and asked where her partner was. Elena smiled and calmly explained that she had come with her daughter. Victoria laughed softly and glanced at the other women. It was not an innocent laugh. Within seconds, the questions became more personal. Had Elena and her daughter's father separated? Was she divorced? Was she really single? Had she not been able to find anyone after all these years? Why would a woman as attractive as her still be alone? Elena tried to brush everything aside, but the conversation attracted attention. A few people turned their heads. Someone whispered something behind her. Another woman looked at Lily with an expression that made Elena's stomach tighten. Then Victoria smiled and asked the question that finally broke something inside Elena. She wondered aloud whether Elena had been invited because of her professional work or because the organizers felt sorry for her. The words landed like a slap. Elena's face burned. She wanted to leave, but leaving would make it worse. She knew how people like Victoria worked. If she walked away, they would remember her as the lonely single mother who could not handle a simple question. Lily looked up at her mother. She knew. Children always know when their parents are hurting. Elena forced another smile and quietly told Lily they should go home. But before she could turn around, a man's voice came from behind her. He calmly said that Elena was not alone. Everyone turned. The man standing there looked nothing like the wealthy businessmen surrounding them. He wore a dark charcoal suit, but it was obvious he was not comfortable in it. His tie was slightly crooked, his hair was short and neatly trimmed, and his expression was calm in a way that suggested he had spent years learning how to stay composed under pressure. His name was Daniel Brooks. He was 38 years old and worked as an operations manager for a private logistics company. He had been invited to the event by his employer, although he had spent most of the evening standing near the back of the room, trying to avoid conversations about money. He had noticed Elena several minutes earlier. He had seen the way she smiled while people embarrassed her. He had seen the little girl watching her mother. And something about that scene had bothered him. Daniel stepped closer and, without thinking too much, said that Elena was his girlfriend. The room froze. Elena stared at him. Victoria stared at him. Even Lily stared at him. Daniel realized immediately that he had made the situation much bigger than he intended. But there was no turning back now. He gently placed a hand near Elena's shoulder and smiled as naturally as he could. He said they had been together for several months, that he had been hoping to keep their relationship private, and that he was sorry if their friends had not known. Elena understood what he was doing. She should have been angry. Instead, she felt something she had not felt in a very long time. Relief. For the first time that evening, someone was standing beside her instead of judging her. The conversation ended quickly after that. Victoria's smile disappeared. The others suddenly found reasons to leave. Within minutes, the crowd moved away, leaving Elena standing beside the stranger who had just pretended to be her boyfriend. Daniel apologized immediately. He explained that he had only wanted to help. Elena told him she understood. Then Lily walked toward him. Daniel expected the little girl to thank him or hide behind her mother. Instead, Lily took his hand. She looked up at him with serious eyes and asked him not to leave. Daniel smiled awkwardly and said he probably should. But Lily tightened her grip. She told him that he was the first person who had made her mother smile that night. Daniel looked at Elena. Elena looked away. Neither of them knew what to say. Finally, Elena gently told Lily that Daniel had somewhere to be. But the little girl refused to let go. She said she wanted him to stay for just 5 more minutes. Daniel agreed. Those 5 minutes became 20. They sat together in a quiet corner of the hotel restaurant. Lily talked about school, her favorite books, and the tiny plant she was trying to keep alive on her bedroom windowsill. Daniel listened carefully. He did not pretend to be interested. He genuinely was. Elena watched them from across the table. She had seen Lily become comfortable with teachers and relatives, but never with a man she had just met. There was something strangely natural about the way Daniel listened to her daughter. He did not interrupt. He did not make fun of her. He did not speak to her like she was too young to understand things. When Lily mentioned that she sometimes worried about being different because she did not have a father around, Daniel did not offer some empty sentence about everything being okay. He simply told her that families were not always built in the same way. Some families were connected by blood. Others were connected by love. And sometimes, the people who cared about you most were the people you never expected to meet. Elena felt her eyes fill with tears. Daniel noticed but pretended he did not. When they finally left the hotel, Elena apologized for Lily's behavior. Daniel told her there was nothing to apologize for. Then he walked away. Elena thought that was the end. It was not. The next morning, Lily asked whether Daniel would come to breakfast. Elena laughed and explained that he was not her boyfriend. Lily looked confused. She asked why he had said he was. Elena explained that Daniel had only been pretending to protect her feelings. Lily became quiet. Then she asked why grown-ups had to pretend when they were embarrassed. Elena did not have an answer. For the next several days, Lily kept asking about him. Elena finally admitted that she had Daniel's number because he had sent her a message making sure they had gotten home safely. She did not call him.